Put down your baby and pick up a beer. Dad Jokes is back with a brand new episode. I'm Jerry, joined here as always by Brandon, and you're listening to the podcast of two dads going through the journey of fatherhood while you all sit back and laugh at us as we do it. And today we have a very special show because it's not just Brandon and I on the show today, it's also our good friend Hunter Bailey, who is a brand new dad. So Hunter, really quick, do a quick little intro and tell everyone hi.
Hey everyone, yeah, I'm happy to be here. I've been begging Brandon and Jerry to get on here because I'd like to see what I have to say being a new dad, like they just said. I have a son that was born 3 weeks ago. I'm sure we'll get into that, but super excited to be here and share my little story.
Yes, Hunter, we're super excited to have you on the show. We actually really wanted to have you on right before the birth and then right after to kind of get both those perspectives. And I'll blame Brandon and I, not you on that, but our lives have been a little chaotic, so we weren't able to make that happen. Well, we're super excited to have you here, kind of hear everything that's been going on. Honestly, these are some of my favorite episodes, Brandon. We get to basically hear the perspectives. And when we started this podcast 4 years ago now, as you reminded me right before we got on, neither one of us had a kid. So it's fun getting to look back into kind of the early times and kind of those early stages and just go down memory lane. So I can't wait to hear from Hunter. But before we do that, the show is called Dad Jokes for a reason. So we're going to hit the people with a couple of dad jokes. And what I love about these episodes is that we have a judge, Brandon. So it's not me saying mine's the best, you saying you're the best, but we have a judge to tell us who's the best today.
Oh, I definitely think I got you today. I came with a pretty strong joke, so we'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's so-so. So Hunter, you'll be the judge. I got a feeling that maybe it's not my day, but we'll see. Brandon, You can lead us off.
Okay, this is PG-13, so it's a little risque for the show.
Oh.
But Jerry, Hunter, in which city do they have the smallest boobs? Manchester. Manchester.
Okay.
All right.
Kind of thought I'd get a little bit more of a laugh than that.
Well, I mean, it's Hunter's kid's first show here, Brandon, and you went PG-13. Can we at least get a PG joke for his first show?
I could have said breasts.
There you go. Guys, what do you call a woman standing in the middle of a tennis court?
No idea.
A net.
That was a good Jerry joke.
I like that.
It's probably
one.
better dad
That
joke.
was a good
Yeah,
one.
I like the setup of Jerry's. But the Manchester, I like that one. Sorry, Brandon, I didn't give it to you. Give you your props live, but I like the Manchester.
I actually think I might have liked Jerry's better, so we went all the way around. It was a true dad joke.
I got
We
one.
did.
Can I run one by you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, do you have one for the end of the show?
I
or
do.
you
I do
right
have
now?
one. So yeah,
Okay,
you
let's
guys
go.
put some pressure on me, but I wanted to come
Let's
with
do it.
with something. So the creator of the umbrella was just going to call it Brella, but he hesitated.
That's pretty good, Hunter. That might be up
I
there
like
with
that.
one of the
Take
best
it.
guest jokes so far. We
That
gotta
is.
run
I'll
back
take
the
it.
tape.
We do got to run back the tape. But before we get into all things Hunter and his chaotic life, I'm sure as it is now, Brandon, quick update on the Banks household. What's been
We're
going on?
gonna be quick, and I don't have. I mean, the last few months have been trying. Hunter, you'll find this out in a few years, but once your kid hits 3, they're
3, not 2.
2 is, people say 2 is terrible. It's not. 3 is very interesting. But I will say, we turned the corner with Bryce. Knock on wood. He has been great. He's been great listening. He's asking all the right questions, fun. And I've complained a little bit on the show before, just with different his attitude of late and his ability to listen to direction. But in general, he's a good kid. He's a great kid. So I don't want that to overshadow how great he is. But we feel like we've turned a corner. There's not many real issues there right now. He's been a great big brother. Him and KJ are playing a ton, and he's actually showing them stuff, and you can see KJ catching on. KJ's been walking everywhere. including outside lately as the weather is broken a little bit in Michigan. We've been outside a ton, and you can tell KJ is already trying to keep up with Big Brother. So Bryce, he doesn't stop. He's running nonstop, and KJ has already started to try to run, and he just started walking like 3 weeks ago. So he's not quite quite great at it, but he's trying. KJ, last couple things, we've transitioned him off formula. So he's with what we use as pea milk, super expensive pea milk, by the way. Jerry, I think you can relate to that a little bit. But his personality's...
We were a one and done on that because I think it was so expensive it broke the Alusky budget. So we were one and done.
It should break my budget, but it isn't. That's how they get a little bit more protein. So we're moving him off formula. He's getting into straw cups a little bit more. But what's fun about him right now, KJ's always had a lot of personality, but it's always just been like the sweetest, happiest little kid. And that's great. That's still there. But he's starting to find himself a little bit as he can move, and he's starting to get into stuff. And
KJ.
he's starting to, and I know this is going to sound crazy. I'm saying this with a smile on my face. He's starting to throw little tantrums. Like when he wants something, and it's not always just like the perfect little kid who never does anything, which I like. Like you need a little bit of personality there too. So he's way more into me at this age than Bryce was. Bryce was a little mama's boy. Now I'd argue I've turned the tide with Bryce a little bit more, but KJ is way more into me at this age than Bryce was. So it's fun. And where we're at right now, Hunter, I can't wait. I can wait because for you I can wait, but I can't wait to also watch Bond grow into these ages because it's crazy just the difference, but also just watching the similarities between them two. So we're great in the Banks household right now. I have no complaints. It's smooth.
It's good.
Yeah, no, I mean we're doing actually really, really well over here too, which is surprising.
Maybe it's because we haven't been at home that much, Jerry. Is it us?
Maybe. But no, it's been good. The girls have been pretty good. There's always ups and downs, but they've been having lots of fun playing together, going outside, which is great this time of year. I love it because they get to go outside and have some fun. The new thing, I think I've talked on the podcast before, how the girls love dancing and singing, and they love Spidey and the Spidey soundtrack. Well, lately, the girls are obsessed with Beautiful Things by Benson Boone and literally will ask for that song 100 times a day and will sing it like as loud as they can and jump up and down, so excited. So that's Benson Boone in our house, and then Apartment by Rose and Bruno Mars. Those are the two songs that they like to sing back to back every day. So that's a big dance party in the Alusky household almost every single night and throughout the day with Grammy, because they ask for it constantly. So that's fun. Avery has been, she's like you said, she definitely has her personality, and nobody's going to tell her what's up, but she is just the funniest little kid. She's going through a little bit of a cold right now, but she's doing great. The one thing that was kind of been tough on me lately, Brandon, is the girls have both kind of been in mom mode, and that's never really been the case in my life. One of them has always kind of been a daddy's girl, and they've both been kind of mama girls lately. But tonight, Avery, when Macy was rocking her, asked for daddy, and daddy got to put her to bed, and Peyton was all about dad too before bed, so I was like, yes, I got a solid night in where they both were all about dad for a little bit. And then when I was gone, I went on a trip down to Augusta, got to kind of see the Masters first round, kind of. And when I got back, they had a big sign made for me, and we're hiding, although Peyton doesn't understand hiding, but they were hiding, quote unquote, and came out and surprised me. But yeah, everything's been going good. The girls have been doing good. Like you said, playing together, having fun. So it's I can't wait for summer because the outside stuff is exciting. And this year, I feel like last year Avery was still so little that you had to kind of constantly watch her and like afraid she was going to hurt herself. Like this year, no, they're just running around like crazy already the first few times outside, and you can just like kind of let them run free. And the last thing I'll mention, Brandon, is Easter is coming up this weekend. So we did Easter egg coloring in our house just the other night, and Dad had to go to the store to buy the Easter egg dye. And of course I got suckered in by good marketing because that's me. and they had mermaid eggs. And when you're a girl dad and you see mermaid eggs, you're like, yeah, I need them. But basically, there were like nets that you put around the eggs, and it like makes like the mermaid like pattern on the eggs. And the girls liked them so much that Peyton cried before bed because she wanted to take the egg with her to bed, and I had to tell her she couldn't take the egg to bed with her, and she was crying because she didn't understand why the smelly egg couldn't go to bed with her. So, mermaid eggs is my piece of baby gear. If you're a girl dad out there, they sell them at the store. They're probably $1 more than the regular colored eggs, but they were a big hit in the Alusky household. So that's my piece of baby gear.
One quick thing on the eggs, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. Easter egg and Easter egg painting has never been my thing, and I figured out the reason why recently. I was talking to my parents, and the one time I remember doing this as a kid, my dad's from Louisiana, and we were doing it down there, and I don't like hard-boiled eggs at all. I don't know what you guys' process is for Easter egg, but it's the only thing I've ever known about this process. We're at my aunt's house, and the whole house smells like eggs. They're hard-boiling a bunch of eggs, and then we got to paint them all, and it just stinks, and I hate it. And then after we're done painting it, they crack the eggs, and we eat them, and I hate the taste of eggs. So I don't know if that's what you guys normally do. I found out that it's not really, from my wife's side of the family, that's not really what their style was. But yeah, I hated painting Easter eggs growing up because we basically were forced not to waste the eggs and had to eat the hard-boiled eggs after. So
yeah, I didn't eat the eggs, but I do know people in my family did. So, I don't think you're too far off from what we did, but I didn't eat them because I still to this day hate our hard-boiled eggs. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I never cared for painting Easter eggs either because I'd always use that white crayon that you can't see when you're drawing some elaborate design. And then you think you're going to dunk your egg, you're going to have some super cool image on there, some cool design, and it never turns out. So it was never my thing either. So I kind of agree with you.
Shout out to Easter.
But I do like hard-boiled eggs personally.
Of course you do. You're an athlete.
I mean, yeah. Hunter looks like the guy. If you guys you're just listening, but Hunter looks like the guy who would like hard-boiled eggs. Brandon and
I don't know what that means
or not, but yeah. Me neither.
He looks more athletic than us. I was a compliment.
What's that
Hunter.
mean? No,
maybe he's just younger than us.
You're telling people I stink or something, man.
It could be. But Hunter, we want to get to you. We want to talk about all things Bond and what is going on in the Bailey household. But, I guess first off, start with kind of, like before and what your mindset was before going to the hospital and then that whole hospital experience to the birth. Like walk us through that experience for you.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I knew nothing about birth at all. And I kind of kept it that way because it kind of always, I don't know, I'm one of those guys, if I see too much in the delivery room, I'll pass out. Too much blood. I've always been that guy, way.
Jerry.
So from what I,
that was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, from what I knew about birth was what you see on movies. And by movies, I just mean the chick flicks that you watch. And that's all I knew. It was always like the woman screaming and it's a quick process and it's simple. And then the baby's here and then you go home. So Maddie's my wife for everyone out there. She's amazing. She did a great job, but she woke me up in the middle of the night and it was like 1:30 in the morning. And she's like, "Hey, I think my water broke." And I said, "Okay, well, that means, we get to the hospital." And our hospital was an hour away. So luckily it was in the middle of the night. There was no traffic. We got there in 45 minutes. But like I said, being from the movies, I'm like, okay, water breaks. Baby should be here by 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what I'm talking about. But no, this was just,
I wish.
So yeah, we got there. Her contractions weren't too bad, luckily, in the car. But I could tell they were getting there because any word I said, she would just look at me like, she wanted me to quit talking. So, but there was a pretty cool moment in the car. I distinctly remember because you just got the the sound of the vehicle, and it's just us on the road. We're just going 55, 60 miles an hour straight to Troy, and I look in the back seat, and it's an empty seat, and I'm like, I thought 2 hours, but by tomorrow we're going to have a little baby in that seat. So it was pretty special, once we realized this is our last kind of drive together. So that was a really cool moment. I'll always remember. But again, at this moment, at this point in time, I'm all smiles. I'm like, this is going to be simple. We didn't have to go to, we were worried about having to induce her because she went 5 days over. But I was like, this is all great. It's going to go smooth. Baby's going to be out here soon. I'm going to be a dad and go back to work in a week. And it was we got there, and that's when the real contractions started happening. And I have never seen Maddie like that ever,
Yeah.
because Maddie's a pretty calm person. She doesn't swear. She's a sweetheart, and she had the look of a wrath in her eyes, and I was like, "Whoa, this is intense." And luckily, everything went perfect. She did an amazing job, but it was not 2 hours. It was, which we're still thankful for. It was only 10 and a half hours, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's not bad for labor.
I think it's better than average. I want to say like
Okay.
it's been a while since I did research, but I want to say like 11 to 12 hours is like the average
Yeah.
for your first kid. So if nothing else, she was right on target, not
Yeah.
anything crazy, which blew my mind too, Hunter. You're everything you're saying. I remember I was the same way. I'm thinking like, okay, maybe an hour and we're good, right? Not no 10
Right.
hours or 11 hours.
Right. Yeah. And other people are like, yeah, you could be here. We had someone in labor for 25 hours. And I'm
Yep.
like, what? What are we like? I can't see one, I can't see her like that. And two, I'm like, I did not expect this at all. So, but Maddie, again, being super mom, she had our bags packed. I literally just had to get up and jump in the car, grab our bags and go. So she did such an awesome job. I give her all the credit. But yeah, 10 and a half hours. Um, we were lucky enough that she had a natural birth, and he was 8 pounds 15 ounces, and actually, yeah, 8 pounds 15 ounces, yeah, because he's right under 1 ounce from
Pretty
nine
big boy.
pounds so
Yeah.
yeah, big boy, 21 inches. And she only pushed for an hour, so that was good. Once she was, they told her she was ready to start pushing, and she did such a good job. But still, the most emotional thing I've ever been through. I didn't think I would be that emotional, but it's just one of those things you break down together. At least that was my what happened to me. I'd like to say I'm, Joe Cool, that sort of thing, but when you're going through something that intense with, the love of your life, and something you've been talking about for the last 10 years that we've been together, and it's finally all coming, to fruition, it's a pretty special moment. And our doctors, our nurses, they were all amazing. But again, I pretty much was just there. I give Maddie all the credit. So it was such a cool thing to see her. I mean, this is something we've been talking about for so long. So
Well, let me tell
So
you a
your
secret.
emotions.
And I think Jerry's about to say something about it, but the emotions, they don't stop. They don't go anywhere. They just it almost multiplies. I was watching a Goofy movie with Bryce on Saturday, and it got to the end of the movie, and this is one of those like just Dad. I actually texted our group chat a video of him just looking up at the screen. It's one of those movies that I wanted to wait until he could kind of understand what's going on and watch it, but that was one of those like father son movies that I couldn't wait to watch with him. And I'm at the end of this movie,
right.
and I'm like, I realize it's like tears like streaming down my face because I'm just so happy to watch this movie with him. So it seems like it you can hit yourself with different scenarios, and you'll shock yourself at how those emotions kind of come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, they get them wrapped up right as soon as they weigh them and that sort of thing, and then you're just sitting there and you're holding them, and it's still at that point it's pure shock. And like I said, it kind of broke down. Like it kind of looked like Rory McIlroy. Like he just kind of couldn't believe it when he won the Masters. But it was just like you're looking around. You're like, is this real? Is this baby? This is everything we've prayed for, and here he is. So, but the emotions really, really hit. I know when we got moved to the different room, they do their things, the nurses and stuff. And again, I'm just along for the ride because I know nothing about this. Is our first birth. I haven't looked at any videos on purpose because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to come up with any. I didn't want to give myself any more anxiety than I already had. So we get moved in the other room. All the company leaves, and it's just me and Maddie. And of course, she's been up all night at this point, so she's sleeping. And I remember just grabbing Bond, and he's swaddled, and I'm just looking at him. And again, I'm just bawling, but it's like smiling. It's like this is just the craziest experience ever. Like this is my son. So it was really, really cool. Now some of that could have been some sleep deprivation, but I think a good 95% of it was just how beautiful that whole process is. So
Yeah, well, you probably won't know for the next 5 years or so, what
Yeah.
sleep deprivation or
That's what I've heard.
anxiety or happiness or sadness is. But it's funny, like we all kind of hit on this already, but like the emotions thing is crazy. Like I don't know, like for whatever reason, you can ask anyone that pretty much knows me. I'm not an emotional person. Like I don't cry at movies. I don't tend to be an overly emotional type of person. But kids, they do mess with you. Like just random moments will like get to you, and it's hard, especially for someone who doesn't deal with emotions or isn't used to it, like how it hits you. But I remember for me, I don't know if this was for you, Hunter, but for me, the one that really, really hit me was driving home. Like I was like, I've never been so self-conscious and so like scared while like driving since I was like 15 years
Yeah.
old, like I was like white knuckling it and like literally like driving 20 miles below the speed limit, like not wanting anyone within 100 yards of my car. And it's it's just funny, like, cause like I didn't even think about it until I was in the car and I was like, if anyone gets near me, I'm gonna freak out.
Right. No, same thing. And that's where I like to I thought of it this way, and I'm sure this has been said by a million other dads out there, but where Maddie got to kind of feel the progression. I mean, physically she did, but like she grew that baby, so like she had 9 months to kind of prepare for this moment and her emotions and that sort of thing. And of course, she was still emotional. Where a dad, I mean, in a matter of that time, it just hits you, and all of a sudden, it's just like, here's my baby. I've never felt this baby move. I've never, Maddie could feel the hiccups during the pregnancy, all these certain things that I get to feel for the first time all in this one moment. So it kind of just flooded over. But yeah, we had an hour drive back in Troy. We left the hospital the next day at 5 p.m. So that was a super fun drive in that traffic in South Michigan. I don't know if anyone.
Yeah, Troy's terrible for traffic.
Yeah.
I used to live right by there, so I know all about that.
Yep.
So since you've been home, Hunter, like I guess how has it been? I guess the first few nights, what were those like? And kind of like, like the difference between being in the hospital. That's a big difference, The first few nights you're in the hospital, you got the nurses there. You kind of got support. You feel like, oh, I'm safe. I'm in this hospital. But then it's all of a sudden like, oh, no, I'm in a house. I'm on my own. I know you guys got a little bit of support there with you, but still, it's a totally different world.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to hit on that I skipped over was I knew I was super sleep deprived and emotional because the day we had him, he was born at 12:29 p.m. So that's in the afternoon, obviously. Maddie and Bond were sleeping that night, and there was nothing on TV. It was a Monday night, and The Bachelor finale was on, and I was glued to the TV. I was like, who's he gonna pick? What's going on? And I haven't watched an episode since then. I'm learning all the girls' names and the guy's name, but at the same time, I was like, this is the coolest show I've ever seen. So that's when I knew I had to get some sleep after that. But when we got home, so for those of you that don't know out there, we're building a house. So we live with my in-laws right now. And if you would have asked me, if we would have had me on a week before Bond, I would have said, oh, I cannot wait to get into our house. I can't wait, have our own space and just be able to bring the baby home and not have anyone there. And that did a complete 180 because having the support when we got home, at least for me, was huge because at some point when the emotions, I don't want to say they run out or anything like that, but real life hits you and you're like, I have a baby now. I mean, it's a whole responsibility that I've never, you've never had as a first time dad. So the support there to like, any noise he makes or anything, because you're overthinking everything. To have my mother-in-law here for that help was huge.
Yeah, I mean they've been there before, so that's the interesting thing about going from 1 to 2 is every single noise that our kid made, and we had the advantage, and I'd say in the beginning probably disadvantage of having every gadget that there was to monitor. So we got a sock that's monitoring breathing. We got a camera that monitors the breathing if you wanted to, but also gives you a notification anytime something happens. So you're overthinking everything, every noise. I can't tell how many times I got up to see if he was still breathing. And I had something that was literally telling me that at any given moment. But you're still going to make sure.
Yeah, I still do that.
And that's not going to turn around. And then you have another kid and you barely check on him. And you just let him fend for himself.
You throw a pillow at him and say, "Are you moving?"
So how would you describe your sleep schedule or lack thereof right now?
Yeah, so by day three, because when we got here, um, we just slept in the living room. We just felt like it was the safest place. His bassinet was right in between us. She's on one couch, I'm on the other, and that worked out great. But like you guys just said, you're checking any any little noise, or if he's not making noise, that's the other thing. We just always get up and check. So sleeping was not a thing the first couple days. I mean, you get 45 minutes here, an hour there at a time, but it was just I almost felt guilty to sleep. That's what I kept going back is like I was like I got to be helping, I got to be doing something, I got to be holding him. And by day 3, I was going insane. I was looking at myself in the mirror, just like staring at myself, and I thought I was like in a different realm. I've never been this sleep deprived in my life, but it was almost like I wasn't tired. I was past the point of tired, so now I was just, I mean, I don't want to say hallucinating, but it was a pretty crazy experience. But now I think we've got it down to as good as we can. So Maddie's nursing, which we're very thankful for, that all is going well. But he eats nonstop. So if you were to ask her how her sleep, was going, she would say it's every 2 hours she's up, sometimes every hour and a half. But for me, I mean, I still wake up, but all I could do is just watch at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
she just tells me to go back to sleep. So it's been good. And again, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, to wake up and see them, and because we have like the little soft lights on, and to see them sitting in the corner and she's rocking them. I mean, it's still, it's truly such a blessing. So
How is Bond's personality like? Like has he given you anything that's like different than like the first day or two that you've noticed? Even in because now it's 3 weeks, right? So is there anything
yeah,
that
yep.
you've noticed recently? You're like, oh my gosh, he did this.
Yeah, he's 3 weeks old today. So he's definitely gotten bigger, but personality wise, he smiles a lot, which I'm happy because my dad always told me I was just an angry old man. He said I was a super wrinkly baby and I was always angry. Um, so I'm very thankful that hopefully he takes after his mom in that aspect. But uh, she said, Maddie said he looks just like me. So, but I'm still at that point, which I don't know what you guys think of this, but it's so hard to tell with newborn babies, at
Mm-hmm.
least in okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
no,
there's
you're
people
you're
like
you're
they'll
spot
come out of
on.
the womb.
Well, it's funny because people like always have an opinion, right? So I can't
Yeah,
tell you how many times people come up to me and be like, and it's funny because it's always
It'd be
like they're so
opposite
sure, like,
opinions.
oh, that baby's, yeah, that baby's 100% Macy, and I'd be like, oh, okay, and then someone else like that baby looks just like you, and I'm like, to me, and it sounds bad because it's my kid, but to me, I was like, it looks like my kid, like it looks like a baby, but it doesn't look like me. Or there's things I can pick, but I never was the one who was like that looks like a spitting image of either one of
right.
us. I just saw like the kid, but and people love to tell you too, even people that you aren't that close with. It'll be like someone that you met like twice, and they'll come up and be like, "Your kid is 100% your wife," and you're like, "Cool, thanks." like,
Yeah,
but people are so sure of it, and they really look for that. But I agree with you. Newborns are newborns, right? When they get a little bit older,
right.
it becomes more obvious. But
Yeah,
newborns are newborns.
but I will say he yesterday he rolled over like 3 or 4 times, so that was different. And he's only
Yeah.
3 weeks, but yeah, we would put him because Maddie's introducing the tummy time, just a small amounts at a time, and he would just his left arm would be underneath, and he would just roll over on his back. So that's something something new that he started doing that uh he only does it on his stomach, which obviously is good, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That would almost freak.
No,
Yeah.
that's
That's one of
different.
those things that you get early and you're like, okay, I'm glad you can do it. Stop for a little while.
yeah,
So
absolutely,
you
one
brought
hundred
up you
percent.
brought up your dad and describing you as a baby. Is there anything about your parents that surprised you so far in these first 3 weeks about being new grandparents?
Yeah, if my dad would have treated me how he treated Bond,
Yep. Yep.
I would have never had to work a day in my life. So yeah, he's done, which he was a phenomenal dad. But it's so funny seeing the parents, my parents completely switch, and same thing with Maddie. So I've gotten to kind of see it with Maddie's parents because we have nephews. So I gotten to see how my in-laws have been as grandpa and grandma. But my parents, this is their first grandchild. And my mom has always, I mean, she's given me the world. She's spoiled me. She's been an amazing mom. So with that, I haven't seen it as much. It's kind of cool to see it now because I'm imagining, that's how she was with me. But my dad is super funny. I didn't know he had that side of him because he's a guy where he's just old fashioned and it was tough to get an I love you out of him. But now he's just, I mean, he's texting me anytime they go to the store. He's buying them stuff and he's buying them toys. And I'm like, Dad, he's 3 weeks old. He's not going to play with that toy yet. Or he's buying them shoes or he wants pictures or a FaceTime. So it's pretty funny. I mean, you guys know my dad too. He's not necessarily the poster child of someone that's super emotional. So
Well, it's actually similar.
Kids will change.
I think
Grandkids,
both
yeah.
my dad and Jerry's dad, we wouldn't describe much differently. Like my dad showed some emotions growing up, but it wasn't anything like what we see. I called my dad on Saturday where I was taking Bryce to the park, just because I know he wants to be involved in all of it. He'll drop whatever he's doing at any given time and come up there, and he sees him every day. Like I take him to their house, but I mean he's soft. I'll be straight up. He's gone.
Oh,
He's
they
gone
are.
from like
They're
a
soft.
like a by the book. This is how it's gonna be. Like I got whoopings as a kid. I can't even see him like thumping Bryce on his arm, and he loves these grandkids like none other. He's soft. That's what it is.
They're softies. These grandparents are softies, Hunter, and it doesn't get any
Yeah.
better. Like I joke, my dad, military dad, very very straight, doesn't show emotion, and he's got a bunch of grandkids now. But we had a above ground pool that he built in my one house, and it was in the back by a bunch of trees, and it was always freezing, and we would complain as kids. And he would just be like, "Suck it up," right? That was always my dad. Like, you'll be fine. The second that one of the grandkids got old enough to swim, he put a heater in that boy, like right away, like the
Yeah.
best heater you could buy. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? We grew up a whole childhood, never could get anything. It was
Yeah.
like 50 degrees in our pool, and he gets a heater the second the grandkid turns like 3 years old and can get in the water. So it's just that's what they are. They're softies.
It's funny, but it is cool. It's cool to see that side of him. Because me and my dad are super close. So, and I know he's proud of me. But yeah, it was. I mean, growing up, the story I always tell was it was my dad's birthday, and I had a Friday night football game. It landed on his birthday, September 16th, and I caught 3 touchdowns and had a interception. And then he didn't even stay after the game because we were supposed to go out to dinner. And I texted him. I was like, "Hey, Dad, how was the game?" Like waiting for him to give me, my props or whatever. And he said, "You should have caught 4." And that's just kind of how the guy he was. And he wanted the best for me for sure. But I know for a fact if Bond rode the bench in high school, he would still be there every second of the game because he's done a complete 180 with how grandparents are compared to how they were as parents. Which I'm curious to see how I'll be like because I listen to you guys' podcasts and I see like last when you guys were talking about the difference between how Jerry is with girls and how Brandon is with his boys. And it's funny because I feel like I'd be the same way with boys. I feel like I don't know, just you think you're going to be a little bit more strict, that sort of thing. And a girls, obviously, they're daddy's little girls. So they might get away with a little bit more.
They still catch you
Yeah,
in
well.
moments though. My favorite thing right now is Bryce and I get a cuddle in pretty much no matter what time I get home, and we cuddle and hang out and we talk about his day, and it's those moments too. Even though I might feel comfortable like popping him in the chest, telling him to suck it up a little bit, and I wouldn't do that with my daughter.
Yeah.
You still get those sweet moments too. And our show is about advice and laying out a foundation not only for ourselves but for potential dads. What's the best piece of advice you received before all of this that looking back you can say, and I know it's early, but that's something that really
Yeah.
resonates with you?
Yeah. So I would say 3 things. One's going to be super cliche, and it's going to be like, don't wish time away because as crazy as it may seem right now for all the dads out there and soon to be dads, like I have a best friend who's going to be a dad any day. These moments you only have your firstborn and they're only a newborn once. And I know, we'll hopefully have more kids, but this is the first time we'll ever be able to go through these things and not have expectations. So truly enjoy every moment. And that's the thing. I catch myself like, oh, I can't wait till he's, even 6 months old. He's a little bit bigger and I don't have to worry as much. Or, man, we have a 2-year-old nephew. It'll be so cool when he's starting to learn words and walk around. But right now, to be able to hold him and, he fits perfectly in your hands and you're looking at him for the first time. And it's really, really cool to see. My other one would be, as a dad, kind of be vulnerable, and I think that just talks about like what we were talking about. It's good to be an emotional and talk about it with your wife, because it's just you guys are both going through the same thing. So just communicate with each other and laugh with each other. And it's good to be emotional. Don't just hold that in and bottle it in. And then the last thing I think is really good advice. I actually heard it today, funny enough. I was just scrolling TikTok and it was on there, but it was a really good quote. It was, I got it written down right here, but it's parents today are too focused on giving their child a good life and forget to make sure to give them a good day. And what that means to me is like, as a dad, you're always going to work so hard to give them whatever they want and whatever they need. But it's sometimes it's just as simple as, laughing with Bryce or laughing with Avery and picking out, and having a little tea party, that sort of thing, and just making sure that their day goes good. Because a kid's world, here I am talking about like I know he's 3 weeks old, but a kid's world is as big as you make it. So just make sure, I mean, take it day by day, and that's what I was told, and that's what we've been doing, and it's been
Man,
great.
I don't know about you, Jerry. That
I
last
mean,
one just hit me in the doggone gut.
That's no, it's good. I mean, we've talked about it on here, Brandon, lots of times. That, and both of us have said the same thing. The take every stage in stride advice, that you kind of mentioned first, is so true. And the thing that hit me recently, actually, when we kind of talked about putting you on this podcast, and I don't know why, but it's never hit me until really that moment. But I was thinking like about like our conversation that would happen, and I'm like, man, you only get a firstborn once, and you kind of just said that, but that's tough because like all the moments you're going through, yes, it's the first time you're experiencing them, but if you guys do have more kids, and that's, obviously, by the grace of God, but if you have more kids, even those experiences, not that they won't be great or different, but it's hard because there's two kids. So, you'll never have just that one little kid and you and your wife and be able to like, so definitely cherish that because it is something special. And I think back of kind of those early moments, and it is every single stage is awesome, and you're doing it for the first time, and your wife's doing it for the first time, and your kid's doing it for the first time, and it's just pretty awesome. And then and like I said, it only gets better. As crazy that sounds, like, as every stage is awesome,
Mm-hmm.
it gets better. It gets harder, but it gets better.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is okay though, and that's why I think that kids are so cute and so fun, and because you need them to be, because they challenge you, but it does get better too. Like every stage has its ups and downs, but it's funny because every stage I feel like, Brandon, I don't know, you probably feel like this, although 3 sometimes messes with you, but usually you're like, man, I love this stage, I don't want them to get out of this stage because it's a lot of fun. The 3-year-old tantrums sometimes you might wish away, but they're also freaking cute at 3, man. Like Peyton's 3, but she's so cute, but she's also a little terror. But also I don't want to get bigger either. So that is good
right.
advice, and for you to have that kind of like knowledge at 3 weeks in is pretty awesome.
Well, I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I was just a quote I seen today, and I was like Brandon just said, it hit me, and I probably feel less guilty than you guys do because he's only 3 weeks old, so I haven't I haven't missed any days. But yeah, it's crazy, man, because it gives you a whole new perspective on life, which again sounds so cliche. My dad kept telling me that. He's like, you just wait, you'll worry, you'll do this, you're gonna, even going to work and how you carry yourself. And I'm like, yeah. Like I always do that. I always try my best. But it's just a whole new level of you. You want to be the best possible man you can be, and it's something that doesn't, you don't realize you have it in you until you have a child, and it's a really, really cool thing.
For sure.
If you had to describe the feeling of being a father in one word, what would it be? And Jerry, I want you to answer this too.
Yeah, no, that's tough. One word is tough because I'm trying to think of something personally for me. I don't even know if this word makes sense, but man, I would lean into my faith a little bit. I would say biblical because it's the most amazing thing and gift from God that you'll ever experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say gift. It's just a gift, to be able to get to be a parent, and I mean, it's just like you said, it's almost spiritual because it's you made that. Like people, I don't know. I was watching something the other day, and then the dad was like, I made that, and that's so true. Like you and your, like, it's 50% you, right? and it's 50% the person you chose to be with. You know, we all are with our the loves of our lives, right? With our spouses, people we want to be with. So, you know, you got 50% the person you chose to be with and 50% yourself. That's pretty crazy to think, you know.
Yeah.
So when they're acting crazy, you only got yourself to blame. And I remind myself that all the time. I'm like, well, she is your kid. That's I can't get too mad.
I'll take the less touchy feely one and say roller coaster as it's. You get, and it's in every which way, but you get the ups and downs of emotions. They can be all over the place, but at the end of the day, you still get right back on that ride and do it all over again. And in some people's cases, my grandma had 12 kids, so she hopped on that roller coaster.
That's a roller
12
coaster.
times.
Yeah, she had the fast.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brandon, like you said, we had, I think, a mutual person tell us both the same piece of advice, but when you have kids, the highs are higher, the lows are lower. So roller coaster makes a lot of sense. But kind of changing topics a little bit, I don't say this isn't fun, but more fun or kind of go back to our origins is we really like to talk about baby gear on the show, Hunter. That's kind of like what started this, is talking about gear and what you should have as a dad. Has there been anything that you got either beforehand as a gift or you guys bought that is like your go-to you're like, this is the baby gear you dads out there need?
Yes, and I'm sure, I know for a fact someone's probably said this, but we thought we were going to be the world's best swaddlers. We've watched videos, we would practice on stuffed animals. We thought we were going to be, I mean, like the
swaddle
we
kings.
thought we made up, yes, you name it. We thought we were going to swaddle. And by night 3, we were like, overnight, those Halo sleeping sacks.
Yes.
I think that's what they're called.
Yes.
And yeah, and that's because he kept getting out of them. He's so strong. So, or either he kept getting out of them or we just weren't good at them. But Halo sleeping sacks, 1000%. I believe that's what they're called. And Maddie just had one of her good friends in her Bible study, you know, open a registry and they weren't on there. And we still bought them for them just because we know, I mean, we're going through it right now. He's 3 weeks old. And if he's not in that thing, he's not getting a good night's sleep. And by good night's sleep, I mean an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly, which is a good night's sleep at his age. But those things are money. I have them. That and the Ollie swaddle were our go-tos. Yeah. The Halos and the Ollie swaddle. That thing's got super Velcro. If you guys need another good swaddle, Hunter, okay. The Ollie swaddle. I mean, that thing, like, you got to like almost like hold your kid down to rip the Velcro up. So they're not getting out of that. Yeah. So that's another good one.
We didn't subscribe to the we think we can swaddle ever. So we had a few different options from the beginning. That and dual zipper clothing for the kids. I still get mad to this day if one with a single zipper is slipped into KJ's wardrobe. Dual zippers.
Yeah, we got newborn out. I know, because you get the newborn, you get the 0 to 3, you get the 3 to 6. We got newborn stuff with buttons on it, and I can't believe what sick person would even come out with that.
No, magnets. They got magnet ones. Those are money, and then obviously the zippers are you got to do from the bottom up too, man. Don't just otherwise you're just ruining your whole day. If it's just from the top down, it's the worst. I don't know, people that gifted you those, they don't really care about you.
Or they don't have kids.
They don't care about your well-being.
Right. Yeah, they don't. It's funny you say that because the smallest things become so relevant. You know, like, okay, you just put on an outfit. No, it's not that simple because you know when they need out of that diaper right away, you know, every minute counts. So
it does. So you talked about something for Bond. Have you gotten any dad swag yet? Something that you're like, yep, I'm a dad now because I got this, whether it be a hat, a jacket, shoe, anything, any dad swag yet?
Yeah, so we're kind of at a funny point. I have really bad OCD, and we are moving out of our in-laws and into our house in a month and a half. And I refuse to buy clothes until then, and I refuse to get clothes. So every Christmas, my mom's like, let me get you this, let me get you that. And unless it's work stuff, I don't want it because I don't have the space here, and I don't want to go through a closet. I don't want to worry about it. So I haven't gotten anything yet, but I definitely have my eye on some stuff, and I'd take any pointers. But I mean, man, I guess I got a football jersey. I custom made a Lions jersey with his last name on it. So I guess I have that, but we framed that, so I don't think I'm going to wear it anytime soon. So
I think it just naturally happens, Hunter. That's the funny part is we would joke about it, And then I just naturally see myself sometimes. I'll be going to like the grocery store and I'm like, I'm dressed like a dad right now. It's
Oh, I
not even
dress like a dad.
intentional.
Yeah, I got about 5 pairs of New Balances. I'm not even joking. I definitely dress like a
Don't sleep
dad.
on New Balance.
Um,
Yeah,
no,
Brandon likes
no,
New
they got
Balance.
some good colorways. I've been on New Balance for a minute, but yeah, I just don't have anything that's like branded dad yet.
Well, I'll sell you a
Okay.
super expensive dad bag for the low.
Oh, Brandon and his dad bag. I used mine the other day. You
Yeah.
know that,
I had
Brandon?
an
I have
opportunity
a
to
dad
use mine
diaper
the other
bag that
day,
I
and Kelly
love.
said, "Mine's already packed. Let's go."
No, I can't stand Macy's. That's part of the reason why I love mine, I think, because I really dislike hers. But I'm also like you, Hunter. I'm the OCD one in the relationship, and like I
Hmm.
like things very particular. And Macy's the one who just throws it all in, and it's just like I called her today. We were watching Modern Family, and I called her Phil Dunphy. That's who she is.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
the
He's
Phil,
my
and I'm the
favorite character.
Claire. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what happens. So I'm like I'm gonna take my bag because her bag distresses me out. I don't even know what's in there. You'll find like
Yeah.
animal crackers from 5 months ago. I don't know.
That's a good show,
So
man. I love that show.
it is a good show. It is. It's funny.
Yeah.
And shows like that mean more too when you have. It's silly, but like it does because now you see these kids grow up and you're seeing them as parents, and I don't know. You can relate to it better. So it's
No,
funny.
for sure.
Yeah.
I every Wednesday it was on at Wednesdays because the middle was on before it, and I watched that with my family, and then Modern Family was on at 9. So yeah, I was a big Modern Family guy here.
There you go. There you go. Well, Hunter, before we end today's show and get into your last dad joke, I guess, for everyone listening out there who either is pregnant right now or is thinking about maybe having a kid sometime in the near future, what piece of advice would you give to them kind of on what to expect or on what to think about?
One, I'll keep it simple. I would say don't plan too much. Me and Maddie always catch ourselves planning ahead, planning, which it's good to be organized, don't get me wrong. But I mean, like, plans for, like, I have plans for his life, and the guy's 3 weeks old. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, you really just have to take a step back and just enjoy the time because it's the most cliche thing. Time goes by so fast, and it's the one thing we wish we all had more of. And it's the one thing you can't get more of. So just enjoy every moment. Enjoy the whole process because one of the reasons I broke down in the hospital was I was looking at Maddie and her big pregnancy belly was gone, and I was like, that whole 9 months, I felt like guilty, like I didn't enjoy it as much as I could because I remember going on walks and she had her pregnancy belly and just looking at her and laughing and thinking she was beautiful and it's just I just like things like that. Like I wished by too fast. I was like, oh, I can't wait to meet him. I can't wait to meet him. I can't wait till that day's here. And all of a sudden it was here. And I was like, man, that last 9 months, I feel like I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. So truly take a step back. Everything's going to be okay. You're not in this alone. Reach out for help with other dads out there, but just know that um, every part of it is a perfect thing.
That's great advice, and you kind of hit the nail on the head at the end there too. Find other dads, find people that are going through similar type things. That helps out so much because as a dad, like Brandon and you both talked about it, your emotions get everywhere, right? And you start like not knowing what you're going through. You feel like you're going crazy, especially early on with the sleep deprivation and everything so new. So having people you can rely on and just be open with and talk to is super important. For both you and your spouse, you want them to have people that they can relate to too. And it doesn't even have to be someone it can be a online forum or something like that. Like some people like Facebook groups or things. But just find a space where you can kind of express yourself and talk to people. That does help a lot. This is kind of what we do. This is why we did this podcast. It lets us kind of get on here and talk through some things, and it's been good for us. So, I mean, we keep coming back. So
Yeah, you said it at the beginning, Jerry. Part of the reason that I love these episodes and when we get someone on is, for me personally, it helps me almost reset and say, I want to go upstairs and hop into bed with Bryce right now. Because it's, I mean, you get so caught up in the day to day and making sure that everything's okay, everybody's okay, and you try your best to stay in the moment. But it always is helpful and a great reminder to have someone who's in these early stages put it all in perspective too. So Hunter, it's great having you on.
No, I appreciate it, guys. And it's like you guys just said too. Getting on here, and for anyone that hasn't hasn't talked through like a podcast before, you worry, you're like, oh, how do I say it? But it's something this natural, just flows. And talking about it with you guys has helped me. And same thing, I'm probably gonna run downstairs and grab him out of Maddie's arms and hold him. And I just noticed real quick, the title of this episode's Bond, Dad Bond. You guys hit that on the head, because me and Maddie's first date was a James Bond movie 10 years ago, and that's how we came up with this name.
Nice.
So it's as simple as that. People are like, oh, did you? And I like what the name, I like what the word Bond means, of course. But that's, people ask me like, oh, did you think of this? And I'm like, you're thinking too hard, man. It was just we watched a James Bond movie and we thought that would be a cool name, and it stuck 10 years later.
That's great.
That's pretty awesome. Well, it has been great having you on here, Hunter. I can't wait to have you on. Like I said, as we keep going, we're not wishing away time here, but to kind of see how your experiences adapt and change, and how you grow as a dad. It's gonna be fun. Obviously, we get to see you all the time, so we'll have those conversations. But it'll be exciting, and I can't wait to see what life has in store for Bond and for the Bailey family, because you guys are pretty awesome, and he's a pretty lucky kid. So just yeah, man, really excited for you guys. And now we get to end with the dad joke. You said you had a great dad joke, so you got to bring us home here, because this is the one that everyone's going to remember, and one day we're going to tell Bond the dad joke his dad said on his podcast show.
I mean, I already used it. It was the umbrella one.
I thought you said you had two.
I only had the one. Dad joke, man. So
That's all right.
Bond's first impression of me as a failure.
No, I think you might have had the best joke of the day.
You did. It was the best joke, so we'll give you the W on that. And then
I
Brandon's
apologize to the viewers out there. I'm sorry about that.
No worries, man. But no, we really do appreciate having you on the show. And for everyone back who hasn't already, please like us on all our social media pages. Please leave a review. Tell your friends about us. That's the number one compliment you can give. And let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you want to hear about. We love having people on the show, just like Hunter. So if you are interested in being on the show, or even just having us talk about something in particular, we'd love to talk about it, dig into it, and see if we can't address the topic. So, but until next time, I'm here with Brandon and Hunter, and I'm Jerry, and you're listening to Dad Jokes.